Welcome to Quick Truth. My name is Derek Truesdell. This week, I want to continue our study in the book of James. I took a few weeks of standalones just to take a break from James, but now jumping back in, chapter 4, verses 11 through 17. And I really want to zoom in on 13 to 15. Verses 11 through 12 are talking about not slandering other people, and 13 through 15 are talking about the future, and 16 to 17 are really just added on to that same idea. So, in general, the theme that we've been seeing in James is defeating pride in our lives, depending more on God. And that's the same that we're going to see in these verses here. When we slander other people, we're pridefully making ourselves a judge of that other person. So we should not do that. We should rule that out of our lives. And then 13 through 15 are talking about making plans without reference to God. So we are prideful in that we don't think God has an effect in our lives. We can make our own plans without reference to God. So we need to be humbled and accept the fact that God holds our future in his hands. So I want to read through verses 13 through 15. Those verses say, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that." And then 16 through 17 kind of continue the same idea. But I want to look at that point. We can't know the future. People all throughout history have wanted to know more about history. What's just around the corner? What's going to happen with this thing that I'm anxious about? People have always wanted to figure these things out. You can see it even in the Bible with Saul. He wanted to know how this battle is going to go. So he goes to this fortune teller. And people have done that in the past, gone to fortune tellers, either seriously or not seriously, to figure out what's going to happen with this thing. And we want to know this. We want to take it into our own hands and become in control of it and make a difference for those things. But we cannot know the future. Only God can. So that should humble us to know that only God can actually know the future. We are limited in what we can know. And we could take from that we shouldn't make any plans at all because we can't know the future. That's not the right way to go. We should still make plans because it's been said, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Because we have to get these things in order and make plans for the future, but we can't act like we're in complete control of the future because there's a lot of things that we just cannot control that are only in God's hands. So as you continue in these verses, they compare our lives to a mist or vapor that's here for a moment and then passes away. And you can think of it like a sunset. When you have a sunset, there's a time where it builds, it's soft, and then it becomes more colorful and brilliant, and then it goes away. But if you're not paying attention, you might miss the very best part of that because it's limited and it's temporary. So our lives are like that too. We have time and we have a building time, we have a crescendo point, and we have colorful events that happen in our lives. But if we're not paying attention, we miss the best part of it. We need to be paying attention and realize that our lives are temporary. We all know that our life is temporary, but how many of us take into consideration what that means for today? Like our lives are temporary, we should be doing things today that we want to get done. We need to be serving God today, not putting that off till tomorrow. And now we've seen another part of how James talks about how we should cancel pride in our lives and be humble people. The first is that we should not slander others and become prideful judges of them. And second is that we should not assume we have complete control over our futures, but we should accept that God is truly in control. And I encourage you to examine your heart and see if there is any pride there, deal with that, and then choose to serve God with the time and the resources that he has given you. This has been another Quick Truth. Thanks for watching. God bless.